A little frustrated here. Look at him reeling.
Right hand by Joshua. He's landing punches. What is this?
My family, my beautiful fiance, Yuta. This sport has helped me so much in my life. I think my jaw is broken, by the way, so.
The lights go out. 19,000 people hold their breath. And in that moment, standing across from a real heavyweight champion, Jake Paul realizes he's made the biggest mistake of his life. This isn't YouTube. This isn't a scripted video. This is the Cassia Center in Miami, Florida, and Anthony Joshua is about to expose everything Jake Paul claimed to be. One devastating punch at a time. What you're about to witness isn't just a knockout. It's the complete destruction of an illusion. It's the moment when reality crashes through the hype, when truth demolishes the carefully crafted narrative, when a real champion shows the world what it means to step into the ring with greatness. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why Jake Paul's broken jaw and shattered pride will haunt him forever. December 19, 2025. The night everything changed. Jake Paul had been calling for this moment. He wanted to prove to the world that he wasn't just an influencer playing boxer. He wanted legitimacy. He wanted respect. He wanted to stand toe-to-toe with a former two-time unified heavyweight champion and show everyone that he belonged. But here's what Jake Paul didn't understand. Here's the truth that Anthony Joshua was about to expose in the most brutal way possible. When you step into the ring with a real fighter, with someone who's faced the absolute best in the world, with someone who's knocked out legends and survived wars that would break ordinary men, you don't get to write the script anymore. Reality takes over. And reality is merciless. The build-up to this fight was unlike anything we'd seen before. After Jake Paul's original opponent, Gervonta Davis, had to pull out due to legal issues, Anthony Joshua stepped in, and immediately, the narrative shifted. This wasn't just another Jake Paul spectacle. This wasn't another carefully selected opponent past their prime. This was a legitimate, dangerous, terrifying challenge. Anthony Joshua, at 36 years old, is still one of the most feared punchers in heavyweight boxing. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's been to the top of the mountain, faced adversity, lost world titles, and clawed his way back. He's fought Vladimir Klitschko in front of 90,000 people at Wembley Stadium in one of the greatest heavyweight fights in modern history. He's gone to war with Alexander Usyk, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters on the planet. He's knocked out Francis Ngannou, a man who could literally kill you with his bare hands, in the second round. And Jake Paul thought he could beat him. That right there tells you everything you need to know about the disconnect between confidence and delusion. Jake came into this fight with a 12-1 record. Impressive on paper, sure. But let's break down who he actually fought. Ben Askren, a retired MMA fighter with no boxing experience. Tyrone Woodley, twice, both past their prime UFC fighters. Anderson Silva, 47 years old. Nate Diaz, another MMA guy with boxing skills but no real power. Mike Tyson, who was 58 years old and hadn't fought professionally in nearly 2 decades. His only loss? To Tommy Fury, a real boxer, who beat him on points. So when Jake Paul signed to fight Anthony Joshua, critics, analysts, and fans all said the same thing. This is too much. This is dangerous. This could end very, very badly. But Jake believed. He talked about his speed, his footwork, his preparation. He brought in heavyweight contenders Frank Sanchez, Jared Anderson, and Lawrence Okolai to help him train. He studied film. He worked on his defense. He truly believed he could pull off the upset of the century, comparing himself to Andy Ruiz Jr., who shocked Joshua back in 2019 with a stunning knockout victory. Jake said he had the speed and resilience to challenge AJ. He said he was ready for war. And when the contract was signed, when the date was set, when the press conferences began, you could see it in his eyes. Jake Paul genuinely thought he was going to win. Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, said something that should have sent chills down Jake's spine. He said, and I quote, "If I can kill you, I will kill you. That's just how I am. And this is just the job I do, so let's go." No trash talk. No theatrics. Just a cold, calculated statement of intent. Joshua wasn't there to play games. He wasn't there to put on a show for Netflix. He was there to expose Jake Paul, to systematically break him down, and to remind the world what happens when you step into the ring with a real heavyweight champion. Joshua said his goal was simple. Pin Jake Paul down. Hurt him. Take his soul. And when the time came, knock him out. December 19, 2025. The night arrives. The crowd is buzzing with anticipation. Celebrities fill the arena. Rick Ross, Young Thug, Dave Portnoy, Michael Irvin, Rory McIlroy, all there to witness history. Netflix is streaming the fight live to millions of people around the world, and the energy inside the Cassia Center is electric. The ring walks begin. And here's where the first piece of truth gets exposed. Despite being the former unified heavyweight champion, despite having one of the most accomplished resumes in modern boxing, Anthony Joshua walks out first. Because in this fight, on this night, Jake Paul is the A-side. He's the draw. He's the reason millions of people are tuning in. And that fact alone tells you everything about the state of modern combat sports. A YouTuber has more pull than a 2-time world champion. But Joshua doesn't care about that. He's not here for the fame. He's here to fight. Jake Paul enters the arena with all the confidence in the world. His brother Logan is by his side. The crowd is split. Some are cheering for the upset. Some are there to see Jake get destroyed. The referee brings both fighters to the center of the ring for final instructions. Anthony Joshua stands 6'6", weighing in at 238 pounds of pure muscle. Jake Paul, 5'11", weighing in at 220 pounds. The size difference is noticeable. The experience difference is staggering. The bell rings, and round 1 begins. From the very first seconds, you can see the difference. Anthony Joshua is calm, patient, measured. He's not rushing anything. He's studying Jake, watching his movement, calculating his distance. Jake, on the other hand, is bouncing around, trying to use his footwork to stay away from Joshua's power. He throws a few jabs, testing the waters. Joshua blocks them easily with his glove. Midway through the round, Jake throws an overhand right, trying to catch Joshua off guard. But AJ sees it coming from a mile away and slips it effortlessly. The crowd starts to murmur. In the closing seconds of round 1, Joshua scores with a right hand to Jake's head near the ropes. It's not a devastating punch, but it's a message. It says, I can hit you whenever I want, and there's nothing you can do about it. Round 2. Anthony Joshua begins to utilize his 6-inch reach advantage. He starts leading with his left jab, snapping Jake's head back with sharp, precise shots. Jake tries to counter, but he's too slow. Joshua is controlling the pace, controlling the distance, controlling everything. You can see the frustration starting to build on Jake's face. This isn't how it was supposed to go. He was supposed to be the faster fighter. He was supposed to be able to dart in and out, land his shots, and avoid Joshua's power. But the reality is setting in. Speed means nothing when your opponent has elite-level timing and experience. Joshua isn't chasing Jake. He's waiting, letting Jake come to him. And every time Jake steps forward, Joshua is there with a counterpunch that reminds him why this was a terrible idea. Rounds 3 and 4 are more of the same. Joshua is methodical. He's breaking Jake down mentally and physically. Every jab is pushing Jake backward. Every right hand is making him think twice about closing the distance. And the crowd, which came to see a spectacle, is starting to get restless. This isn't the explosive action they were promised. This is a systematic dismantling. This is a masterclass in patience and control. And if you're Jake Paul, this is your worst nightmare. Because you can't knock out someone you can't hit. And you can't win a decision against someone who's landing clean shots on you every single round. The reality is starting to become undeniable. Jake Paul is outclassed. Round 5. This is where everything changes. This is where Anthony Joshua decides it's time to end the show. He starts closing the distance. He's no longer content to jab and move. He's walking Jake down, cutting off the ring, forcing him into bad positions. And Jake is getting tired. You can see it in his movement. His legs aren't as quick. His punches don't have the same snap. He's breathing heavy. And Joshua, like a predator sensing weakness, moves in for the kill. Midway through the 5th round, Joshua lands a massive uppercut that crashes into Jake's chin. The impact is devastating. Jake's legs wobble. His eyes go wide. And he takes a knee, falling at the feet of the man who's about to end his dream. The referee starts the count. 1, 2, 3. Jake is breathing hard, trying to clear his head. 4, 5, 6. He pushes himself up, nodding to the referee that he's okay. But he's not okay. Anyone watching can see it. He's hurt. He's compromised. And Anthony Joshua knows it. The fight resumes, and Joshua immediately goes back on the attack. He's throwing combinations now, punches coming from all angles. Jake tries to cover up, but the shots are getting through. A right hand bounces Jake off the ropes. Another uppercut snaps his head back. The crowd is on their feet. The end is near. And you can feel the energy in the arena shift. This isn't about Jake Paul's story anymore. This is about Anthony Joshua doing what champions do. Finishing the job. If you're feeling this emotion right now, if you're invested in what happens next, I need you to do something for me. Hit that like button. Subscribe to SLAMZONE. Because this channel is a family, and we're witnessing history together. We're seeing the truth get exposed in real time. And I want you here with me for every single moment. Join the family. Hit that notification bell. And let's finish this story together. The bell rings to end round 5, and Jake Paul stumbles back to his corner. His coaches are working frantically, trying to give him advice, trying to wake him up. But there's nothing they can say. There's no strategy that's going to save him now. Anthony Joshua has broken him. Mentally, physically, emotionally. And everyone in that arena knows what's coming in round 6. The bell rings. Round 6 begins. And Anthony Joshua wastes no time. He comes out of his corner like a man possessed. He backs Jake Paul into the corner immediately. Jake's hands are down. His chin is exposed. And in that moment, Joshua does exactly what he said he would do. He lands a devastating right hook that sends Jake crumbling to the canvas. The crowd erupts. The referee rushes in and begins the count. Jake tries to get up. He pushes himself to his knees. But before he can fully stand, Joshua is there again, landing another combination to the head. Jake goes down for the second time. The referee continues counting. Jake is conscious, but he's finished. His body won't respond the way he needs it to. He tries to stand again, but his legs give out. And then, in the final, brutal moment, Anthony Joshua lands one more right hand. Clean, powerful, perfect. Jake Paul collapses to the canvas for the fourth time, and this time, he's not getting up. The referee waves it off at 1 minute and 31 seconds of round 6. It's over. Anthony Joshua has knocked out Jake Paul. The arena explodes with noise. Some are cheering for Joshua's victory. Some are shocked at how brutal the ending was. And Jake Paul is lying on the canvas, staring up at the lights, realizing that everything he thought he knew about himself as a fighter just got shattered into a million pieces. The aftermath of this fight is where the real truth comes out. In the post-fight press conference, Jake Paul reveals that he suffered a double broken jaw, 2 fractures, the kind of injury that takes months to heal, the kind of injury that makes you question whether you want to keep fighting. And despite the pain, despite the embarrassment, despite the devastating loss, Jake tries to stay positive. He tweets, "Double broken jaw. Give me Canelo in 10 days. It's a joke, obviously, but it's also a defense mechanism, because when you've just been exposed on the biggest stage possible, humor is sometimes the only way to cope. Anthony Joshua, in his post-fight interview, is respectful but honest. He says, "It wasn't the best performance. The end goal was to get Jake Paul, pin him down, and hurt him. That has been the request leading up to the fight, and that's what was on my mind. It took a bit longer than expected, but the right hand finally found the destination. As I said, I need to give this guy a systematic breakdown. I know what type of fighter he is, and I said I'm going to take his soul, and I'm going to see it leaving his body round after round, and when the time comes, some people are just there to get knocked out." Those words hit different when you know what happened. Joshua delivered on every single promise he made. He took Jake's soul, he broke him down, and he knocked him out. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. Anthony Joshua calls out Tyson Fury immediately after the fight. He says, if Tyson Fury is as serious as he thinks he is, and he wants to put down his Twitter fingers in some gloves, come and fight one of the realest. This is the fight that the entire boxing world has been waiting for. Joshua versus Fury, 2 British heavyweight legends. A clash that would be one of the biggest fights in boxing history. And now, with this dominant win over Jake Paul, Joshua has positioned himself perfectly for that showdown. He's reminded everyone that he's still one of the most dangerous fighters in the world. He's proven that he can carry massive events on Netflix. And he's shown that when it matters most, when the lights are brightest, he delivers. For Jake Paul, the road forward is unclear. In his post-fight comments, he says he's not demoralized. He says he's going to take a break, then come back and fight people his own weight. He talks about going for the Cruiserweight World Championship, but the reality is that this loss has damaged his credibility in a way that's hard to repair. For years, critics have said that Jake Paul only fights carefully selected opponents, aging legends, MMA fighters transitioning to boxing, people who are past their prime or out of their element. And every time Jake won, he'd point to his record and say, "I'm a real fighter." But when he finally stepped up to fight someone in their prime, someone who's a legitimate world-class boxer, he got destroyed. Brutally. Decisively. And that's the truth that's been exposed. The referee during the fight even yelled at both fighters at one point, saying, "The fans didn't pay to see this crap, because the early rounds were so cautious and slow." But that wasn't entertainment. That was Anthony Joshua being smart. He wasn't there to give Jake Paul a chance. He wasn't there to make it exciting. He was there to win. And he did. In the most definitive way possible. This fight should mark the end of Jake Paul as a serious attraction in professional boxing, not because he's not talented. He clearly has power. He clearly has dedication. But because the gap between an influencer-turned-boxer and an elite professional is simply too large. Jake Paul has been operating in a space where he can control the narrative, pick his opponents, and build hype around spectacles rather than legitimate competition. And that works in the YouTube world. That works in the influencer world. But it doesn't work when you step into the ring with someone like Anthony Joshua. Because real fighters don't care about your followers. They don't care about your brand. They care about winning. And they have the skills, experience, and power to back it up. The truth that Anthony Joshua exposed on December 19, 2025, is simple. Jake Paul is not a top-level boxer. He's a talented promoter, a brilliant marketer, and someone who has brought new eyes to the sport of boxing. But when the bell rings and the lights are on and a real champion is standing across from him, all the hype in the world doesn't matter. Skill matters. Experience matters. Power matters. And on that night in Miami, Anthony Joshua had all 3 in abundance. As we close this chapter, as we reflect on what we witnessed, I want you to remember something. This isn't about hating Jake Paul. This is about respecting the sport of boxing. This is about understanding that there are levels to this game. And while Jake Paul has done incredible things in building his career, there's a limit to how far hype and confidence can take you. Eventually, you have to face reality. And for Jake Paul, reality came in the form of a 6'6" former world champion who knocked him out and exposed the truth for the entire world to see. If this video has opened your eyes, if you're feeling the weight of what happened, I need you to do something. Share this video. Send it to your friends who followed the Jake Paul hype. Post it on social media. Let's make sure that people understand what really happened in Miami. Let's honor Anthony Joshua for doing what needed to be done. And let's have an honest conversation about what it means to be a real fighter in this sport. Comment below and tell me your thoughts. Did Jake Paul deserve more respect for even taking this fight? Or was this loss inevitable from the moment the contract was signed? Do you think Jake should retire, or should he keep fighting at a lower level? I want to hear from you, because this is a conversation that matters. And before we go, one last reminder. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, join the SLAMZONE family, because we're going to keep bringing you the truth, the analysis, and the real stories behind the biggest fights in combat sports. No hype, no bias, just facts, emotion, and respect for the athletes who put their lives on the line every time they step into that ring. Anthony Joshua exposed the truth on December 19, 2025. He showed the world that there are no shortcuts in boxing. He proved that experience, skill, and power will always triumph over hype and confidence. And he reminded us all why he's one of the greatest heavyweight fighters of this generation. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this journey. And until next time, this is SLAMZONE, reminding you that in the ring, the truth always comes out. One punch at a time.